Handcuffed and helpless. Tonight, a Pinellas County police sergeant facing charges accused of attacking a man at the jail. The sheriff calling it a setback for law enforcement. I want to welcome you to Nightside. I am Ryan Bass. Sergeant Patrick Knight was booked into jail this morning and bonded out hours later. He is charged with battery and official misconduct. We must warn you, some of the evidence that you are about to see can be hard to watch. Now, it all stems from Friday, November 19th, when an inmate, Terrell Johnson, was brought in for booking at the Pinellas County Jail. Sheriff Bob Gualtieri says Johnson went through the typical booking process, but raised concerns about an allergy to tomatoes, got agitated, and refused to do a health screening. He was then moved to a single cell. But when Johnson wouldn't calm down, the sheriff says Sergeant Knight opened the door, pushed Johnson to the ground, grabbed his hair, pinned him against the wall, and punched him in the face.
You got a man that's handcuffed behind his back. He's helpless. It's almost makes you speechless because you don't know what to say. This is so terrible. It's so wrong. It's so everything that we don't stand for and what we don't do.
10 Tampa Bay's Angelina Salcido has the community's reaction as the sheriff now tries to regain their trust.
Uncalled for and unwarranted. That's how the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office is describing this attack tonight. Sheriff Bob Gualtieri says that Sergeant Patrick Knight was arrested this morning after this brutal attack on an inmate that he says was unprovoked.
It sets us back.
Frustration after the actions of one of his own.
It causes the job to be harder. It causes the relationship to be harder. It causes the trust maybe not to be there as much as we want it to be.
Sheriff Bob Gualtieri trying to regain the trust of the community once again. Former Sergeant Patrick Knight, who is charged with battery and official misconduct for lying about his actions, left inmate Terrell Johnson with a bloody cut above his left eye, an injury to the back of his head, and a missing clump of his hair back on November 19th.
So when people say, you got some law enforcement officers out there that are bad, that aren't doing the right thing, that are doing the wrong thing, they're right. And all we can do is hold them accountable.
Sheriff Gualtieri says their policy changed last year to encourage deputies to either stop incidents with excessive force or report them right away.
Certainly want to see is somebody stop it to begin with and then come forward much faster and not have to think about what the right thing to do is.
I think that a complete overhaul needs to take place within the Sheriff Department.
Esther Matthews, the president of the NAACP's St. Petersburg branch. She believes the sheriff, but wants to see more.
Honestly, Angelina, the first thing that stuck out to me is not only did he lie on the incident report, but the corporal that was with him initially lied as well. That in itself speaks to what's taking place. This is not new. This is something, honestly, I feel like the sheriff should go back and review all of the incident reports that they've done.
Sergeant Knight actually bonded out of jail this morning on a $2,500 bond, but he actually quit the force last week. Sheriff Bob Gualtieri tells me he would have fired him had he not quit.
Now, this actually isn't the first time an officer has mistreated an inmate at the Pinellas County Jail. Let's take a deeper dive. And some of the videos, as you saw in that picture earlier, may be tough to watch. A detention deputy was fired in 2019 after an argument with an inmate in a wheelchair. It happened months earlier in September of 2018. The former deputy, Aaron Hull, hit the inmate 3 times after he talked back and spit at Hull during a lockdown. Hull was also written up in 2015 after flipping over a table as he approached an inmate. And in January of 2019, Deputy James Morgan kicked inmate while he was doing push-ups as punishment for feeding a bird on top of a dumpster. That deputy was later fired and charged with one count of simple battery. Now, 10 Investigates recently investigated cases of excessive force in our community. To see what they found, just go ahead and open up your camera app right now. Point your phone or tablet at the QR code on your screen. A notification will pop up that will take you right to our investigation. We take a deeper dive into how these cases are looked into and what happens to officers who are found guilty of using excessive force.